Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm putting together a presentation bouquet using artificial flowers. I start every video with prepping my flowers. I will separate them from any groupings that they're together, and I usually remove all the leaves from the stems, but these roses I will not because I like the leaves. And then I want to make the stems longer. Presentation bouquets have like a longer look to them, longer stems. So all these are too short, so I'm adding a 22 gauge wire by making a hairpin out of the wire, grabbing that stem, wrapping the wire around itself and the stem, and then covering it with a wax floral tape. And the wax floral tape comes in all different colors, different shades of green, brown, black, white. And I'll put a link in the description to both the gauged wires and the wax floral tape. I usually get mine on Amazon, so I'll just put that link in there too. And the orange flowers, usually I separate into the bite-sized chunks, but today I'm keeping this grouping of orange flowers together. They look really nice together, and in a presentation bouquet, you can actually have like larger groupings and still make it look good. So we're going to make that happen for them. I've got these yellow kind of buttery color roses that I got at Joann Fabrics. I have an 18 gauge wire that I shoved right up the stem because the stem was hollow. Put a little hot glue there and then covered the wire with the wax floral tape. Then I got these little fun feathery looking things at Hobby Lobby. They have a wedding section there. I think it's called like his and hers. I call it the short and nubby section because they all have these short stems. But this particular one, I could not get the tag off of it. So that's another good use for the wax floral tape. Not only cover your mechanics, if there's like some kind of tag or paint or color on the stem, you can easily cover it with a wax floral tape. So the presentation style bouquet is just like it sounds. It's a bouquet presented to you. So kind of like Miss America, you get that big bouquet of roses. She cradles it in her arm, walks down the aisle, is all teary-eyed and happy. So same thing. But for this bridesmaid's bouquet, I know that the side that is going to be towards the bridesmaid, nobody's going to see. So I'm putting together the bouquet in my hand, carrying it like the bridesmaid would, because I want those flowers facing out to actually face out and see, look at the audience so that they can see that big, beautiful bouquet. They get that full show and they can see all the hard work you put into it and all the money and time that was spent on it. And I'll start with the red roses, just kind of making a foundation for everything. I want the red roses to be the background. They're such a dark shade that they will get lost if I try to put them above the brighter colored flowers. So I'll just let them play their role in the back there, just giving it that touch of color and filling in. And then I move on to kind of the peachy carnations, and then I'll also work in the orange. Not quite sure what kind of flowers those are. I want to say geraniums, but I don't think so. Anyways, they're pretty. They kind of have a nice movement to them too. You see them bouncing around in the bouquet. So that's always important with artificial flowers, that you get that movement so that it looks real. Now my yellow roses, these are the brightest and the biggest, so they're going to be my focal point. And when I space them out in my hand, I want the main focal point to be by my hand. That's where everything happy is happening, right at that hand there. And as I space out the three roses, I'm going to do it like a stone in the water that you toss in the water. The ripples will get further away the further out they go. And the same with the rose blossoms. I want them nice and tight towards that main focal point by my hand, and then kind of space out as they go further up the arm. And then I'm going to work in the fun stuff. So now I've got these little feathery things. And originally I had one on each side, and then I was like, oh gosh, you're never going to see that fun feathery thing on the side that the bridesmaid's going to be holding. So I'll eventually move it over to the other side, but I don't know if you can see from the video, it just has that wonderful movement to it, just a really great texture, and I love the color. So the color scheme that I've got here is more of a hot color scheme, and by adding this kind of dusty pink, dusty rose color, I feel like it softens it and almost gives it kind of a classic old-timey look. I don't know how to explain it, but I just like how it looks, and and the texture against the other flowers and the spiral eucalyptus. So once I have it all together, I'm going to take a chenille stem and I'm going to kind of cinch it around where I'll be hanging on to it, and cover that with a wax floral tape, and then I measure down about 2 hands lengths and then trim the wires, and I'll cover that with wax floral tape. I do like using the chenille stems when when gathering the bouquets, because you can get them nice and tight without cutting through the flowers. So if you're doing this with fresh flowers, I would suggest definitely using a chenille stem so you don't kind of rip and cut into those stems like a bare wire would. But I do cover this with wax floral tape all the way to the bottom. Want to cover my mechanics, want to keep it safe from poking anyone. Just make sure it's a nice, good grip on there. You can also cover this with a ribbon, and I'll put it at the end of the video a link to another video I made on how to do a stem wrap on a bouquet, because that would work really nicely here. But I am adding a ribbon to the base there. I found this ribbon at like super sale after Christmas at Michael's. So if you have a summer wedding or any type of wedding next year, go ahead and let Christmas roll on by and then raid their Christmas ribbon stash, because a lot of it can be used for parties and events like this. But it has a nice weighted look and feel to it. And so I just did a few kind of shoelace loops on either side, because I really like how it looks heavy and kind of weighs down there. Again, adding to that kind of old-timey classic feel. But once you're all set, there you go. You got yourself a presentation bouquet. Thank you so much for tuning in.